Well, good to have you. Glad we could do this
Yeah,
together.
me too.
Um,
I'm
yeah,
excited.
yeah. I'll just, start by welcoming, the people who join, people who see this later. I'm TaSheena. I'm a leadership coach, and currently, I am running a series about leadership, but working with different women of color coaches who have a niche and specialize in a specific sort of thing. And my mission is really to demystify the myth that leadership is only found in a singular title. Most people think that when you say leaders, you're talking about managers or supervisors or, team leaders, someone with a title, a CEO or things like that. And I just want to demystify that myth by exploring these different spaces that will represent our whole lives holistically. And so today I have Monique, the money coach, here with me. And Monique, I'll just pass it to you to introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are.
Hello, everyone. I am Monique, aka Monique, the money coach. I am a mom. I'm a super busy mom. I'm a dance mom. I'm a PTA mom. I'm a sports mom. Like I'm all the moms.
Wow.
I work full time at my W-2 job. I have a money coaching business. I'm a wife. I'm a Zumba
Oh,
instructor. I'm a dancer.
wow.
Like
You are busy.
I do a lot, and I'm really excited to be here to talk about leaders in non-titled
Yep.
leadership
Yep.
spaces. That's like a super exciting topic for me
Yes.
today.
Yes. And specifically today, we're going to talk about the financial strategies for moms in particular. And you're a busy mom. I'm a busy mom too. I'm a mom of four, and we talk about the sports thing. It is alive and well in this household. All my weekends are to sports. And then school is about to start, and my daughter's like, volleyball's coming up. And I'm like, okay, girl. So lots of different things happening in my house. So I do resonate with that. So I guess my first question to you is why don't you tell me a little bit about why finances, money, all those things are important for moms in the first place?
Um, I think as moms, like just being a mom in the home, like bringing it back to the leadership role, we are leaders in our home, and we have the most influence on our kids. And in that regard, we are like their biggest leader. So what we do and what they see us doing, what they hear us saying, those are going to be their examples of what they should be doing, what they should be saying. So if we are managing our money, if we are showing them how to spend their money in the way that is the most effective and the most valuable and the way that it brings them the most joy, if we are doing that by example, then of course they're going to continue with that cycle. If we're showing them something different, then they'll continue on with that cycle. And really interestingly, I saw a statistic that said 50% of women consider themselves the CFO of their household.
Yep.
So if you're the CFO of your household, then that means you're making the financial decisions. So the financial decisions that you are making, your kids are watching.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And that is going to be the foundation of their financial health later on when they become the decision makers in their
Yeah,
households.
yeah, absolutely. Um, I'm curious, I maybe should have asked this first. It's like, how did you get interested in this money thing in the first place? Because I know I've always been like, oh, I don't want to look at the money. I don't look at the bank account. I don't want to deal with all of this. And here we are in 2024, and I'm now starting to say, okay, I need to face this. So how did you get started looking at money?
Well, it took me a long time to actually look at it effectively. Um, but growing up, like I was always taught, save your money, um, don't go into debt, keep your credit score good. Like those were the messages that I received growing up.
Mhm.
And that was pretty much the extent of it. So growing up, I made sure I had a good credit score.
Yeah.
I made sure I had a little bit of money in the bank. I was never told how much money I
Yeah.
should have, but if I have $100, well, that's something in the bank.
Yeah.
It's
It's
savings.
something.
It's something. Um, it wasn't until after I became a mom that I really start to look at how we were spending our money, and is this the best way we're spending our money for our family
Mhm.
and our future? And that's when I started really digging deep into financial literacy, budgeting, even though I don't like that word.
Yeah.
I like the spending plan word better.
Yep.
But it's
I
it's
like that
essentially
too.
it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
But it feels like I have more control if I call it a spending plan.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
um, I really started looking into those things and being more forward thinking instead of so reactive.
Mhm.
Um, and that's when I started to understand like how much freedom and how much relief
Mhm.
I had knowing that my money is doing what I wanted it to do, and it wasn't just kind of floating, doing whatever it wanted to do.
Right.
Um, and feeling that sense of freedom, feeling that sense of relief, feeling that sense of control over my life, and being able to build my future. I was like, oh my goodness, why don't more people know this?
Mhm.
Like, my black and brown moms need this information.
Yes. Yes.
They need
Absolutely.
to feel this level of relief. They need to feel
Yeah.
this level of freedom. They need to feel this level of control over their money, which is just so important in our everyday lives. It dictates our lifestyles, where we live, what we eat, how we spend time with our friends and families, the quality of life we give our kids. Like, money is so important. And to have financial literacy and financial education, it just changes your life
Yeah.
for the better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you were talking about some of the messages that you got while growing up about money, I would say that I kind of got the opposite. There was no, and maybe because it wasn't like I'm the oldest of six kids, and my mom was the breadwinner, but not the sole, breadwinner. But still, we didn't always have a lot. We had enough. We had what we needed. Looking back at it now as a mom, I'm like, oh, we had what we needed. But of course, when we're little kids, we think we should have more. But the messages that I always received were things like, well, you can't die with your money, or, you might as well go ahead and spend your money. And, instead of buying on this one big thing, do you know how long your money can go by buying the cheaper thing? And so there was just always like these different messages that I received that essentially shaped how I view money, which is why I probably looked at money in a sense of like, ooh, that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wonder from you, like, how did those messages impact you in the way, that you operate with money now?
Well, definitely this credit score one.
Okay. Yeah.
That was super, super important. And I think that's the one that I focused on the most. That impacts everything. That impacts how much you're going to pay for your home. That impacts how much you're going to pay for your car. So that was I think that was probably the most beneficial message that I received growing up. The rest of them were more nuanced.
Yeah.
Like I said, have some money in savings. Well, how much? If I have $100 in
Right.
savings, I'm thinking that's money in savings,
Yeah.
but how far is that really going to get me
Yeah.
if there's an unexpected expense?
Yeah.
If I need new tires, maybe that'll pay for one tire.
It may be, depending on your
Maybe.
car.
Right. Um, so the messages were good. They were just limited.
Yeah.
There was more information needed that it wasn't until I was in my very late 30s
Mm,
that I
yeah.
was like desperately seeking this information, because after becoming a mom, my whole
Right.
perspective changed. It was Like, I do not have all the time in the world to myself to put towards a job until who knows when.
Right.
At that time, I was just kind of floating through life, just working for today, and that's it. But after having people that I have to be
Yeah.
responsible for and
Yeah.
that I want to be there for, um, I have to think about, okay, no, this is more important
Right.
than what I
Right.
previously thought.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I heard a phrase the other day that said it's a lot more expensive to be, not good with your money. Like it's way more expensive. Like we think that we're doing something, spectacular, but it's like, no, if you don't manage your money right, it's actually even more money.
And absolutely, and
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
ways, right? Like if you don't manage your money to the best of your capacity
Yeah.
today, then that affects what kind of lifestyle you're going to live in the future. Like the decisions we're making today is impacting our future.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you think, okay, in the future, I will want to not work one day
Yeah.
and still be supported, still have my lifestyle supported, you have to plan for that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
In the future, if I want to possibly, help my kids out with a car or, a little something on the wedding, a little something on the down payment on the home, you have to start planning for that now.
Right. Right.
And the choices that you make today are going to dictate what kind of life you personally have in the future, but
Hmm.
also your children.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. When we think about leading our money or being the leaders of our homes, what does leadership actually look like when we talk about money?
It's every day. It's I had two experiences with this recently. So I have two kids, one 10, one 7,
Mm-hmm.
and the 10-year-old, well, they're both like super sharp,
Mm-hmm.
super sharp. But my 10-year-old, she has to show you how sharp she is.
Yeah. She's a little
So
girl. Yeah.
we're just, so we're talking one day, and she just tells me, Mom, a 401k is a retirement account, huh? And I
Mm.
said, yes, yes, baby, it
Wow.
is.
Wow. Wow.
So they are
Yeah.
watching, they are listening. So it's in the conversations that you have. It's me sitting down, tracking my expenses. I will pull her into that experience
Mm.
and I'll say, okay, here's the credit card statement. You tell me how much we spent on this, this, and this. Um, it's me now they receive an
Oh,
allowance. They
okay.
each receive they each receive $5 a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's very manageable to us as
Right.
parents,
Right.
but to them they're excited.
Right.
Every Friday they're like, "Mom, oh, where's my money?" And
Yeah.
that builds their experiences with money. They are in charge of that money. They get to decide what they spend that money on. There's very few limitations that we put on what they want to spend their money on. Like, no slime, please.
Yeah.
But if you have $30 and you want to spend all $30 on, I don't know, stuffies, those little plushy things,
Yeah.
that's your money. And you absolutely can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Once that money is gone, then you don't have more money to spend on. Maybe you wanted to get something from, I don't know, Wetzel's Pretzels or
Yeah.
something. Well, that's where you decided to spend your money. That was your decision. That's totally fine. If you love what you bought, then great.
Right.
That was your decision.
Yeah.
But just know that that decision made it so that you could not make this decision.
Yeah.
So it's like in those lessons.
Yeah.
It's in the lesson of when we're out, you need to bring your money.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and dad are not going to foot the bill for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to tell me, I'll pay you back when we get home. No, you didn't bring your money. So unfortunately, you don't get
So
anything
good.
this trip.
So good.
It's so
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
I want to give in so many
Yeah.
times.
Because I know I've given in a lot of times. I'm like, okay. And then we get home and I'm like, just they can just keep their money. Like, you don't have to pay me back.
Yes, yes. We used to do that all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
But them learning these lessons now, I already see the difference. We were out at like a vendor fair one time, and my son, oh, he blew all of his money. He loved the things that he purchased. And I told him, he had made a comment like, oh, I wasted all of my money. I said, well, was it wasted or did you buy things that you really loved? And he
Mhm.
bought things that he really loved. So perfect.
Yeah.
Now you just have to build up your money again to buy more things, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Just remember that if you
Yeah.
spend all of your money, you don't have money to buy other things. Um, but my daughter, she bought one thing at the vendor fair for like $2, I think,
Yeah.
because she was like taking inventory, like, this isn't worth my money. This isn't worth my money. I
Right.
think I'm gonna wait until I find something that I really want to spend my money on,
Yeah.
and I'll buy that.
Yeah. Wow, that is commendable because you are teaching them super early. I know that is not something that, I've done very good at all. And again, I told you at the beginning, like the messages that I always received about money was just like, you can't die with it, so you might as well enjoy it now. And so now I'm like catching up and thinking, and I think back to certain things, and there is a level of a little bit of shame there that I should have so much more than what I have now. And so I'm curious from you, like, for people who are in my situation where they're like, dang, I should have saved that money long time ago. How do they start to rebuild that practice of saving money? But also, what are some things they can start to do now going forward?
All right. First, I want to speak to the shame
Yeah.
because, in my experience, everybody feels it.
Hmm.
No matter how good, which I don't like using that, like, I don't feel like there's a good with money or a bad with money.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody is doing the best that they can with the tools that they have at the time that they have it when they're making the decisions that they're making. But everybody feels like, oh, I should have started sooner.
Hmm.
Oh, I wish I would have known this earlier. Oh, I wish I would have started saving earlier. Oh, I wish I would have started investing earlier. Like everybody feels it.
Yeah. Especially investing. Like that one right there. I'm like, dang. But yeah.
Imagine how much further I
Right,
could have been
exactly.
if I had invested my money in
Right.
fourth grade, you know?
Exactly. Yes.
But again, had I known to invest my money in fourth grade, I may not have, who knows? But the only thing we can do is make a different decision today, starting today. And for me, the first thing you want to look at is what are your goals?
Mhm.
And let that motivate you into taking the action that needs to be taken for you to reach your goals. If your goal is to save to get a down payment for a home,
Mhm.
which that might be really tough these days.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in a position where you can do that and you're saving towards that,
Mhm.
then that's your goal. And every money decision that you make, it's either helping you reach your goal
Mhm.
or not helping you reach your goal. And if a decision that you make is not helping you reach your goal, it doesn't mean that it's not a decision that is the right decision for you at that time. Because while we're on the path to reaching our goals, we still have to enjoy our life today.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can't just cut all spending
Yeah.
just to put all of your money towards this one goal. I know that because I've done it.
Mhm. Mhm.
My,
Yes.
my, like on this journey, initially, I was like, all right, everything is cut out. Everything is cut out. We're never eating out
Right.
again.
Yes.
And that didn't work.
Right.
We tried it. We were miserable. We were angry at each other. Like that type of restriction does not lead to a healthy and happy lifestyle.
Yeah.
So there will be decisions that you make that are not like tunnel vision on your goal, but it's still providing you a happy and enjoyable life. And while still like reaching towards
Yeah.
your goal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
keeping your goal in mind, understanding the decisions that you're making, if it's not on your path to reach your goal, is it worth it to you?
Yeah.
to you personally? It doesn't have to be seem like it's worth it to anybody else, but is it worth it to you?
Yeah.
And if it is, then that's a valuable decision for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking about how I would say not too long ago, maybe in the 60s, the 50s or 60s, women were not seen as leaders in finances. Like literally, we could not buy a house on our own. We could not have a bank account without a man co-signing. We are now told like we spend too much money. We need to save, stop, buying your shoes and your purses. And like, we're just not good with money. And I wonder, like, bust that myth for us. Like, what's true, what's not true? What is it about women and money?
That is patriarchy talking down to us.
Yes, yes, yes,
I mean, you're right. For so long, I think it was even up until the 70s, women couldn't have credit
yes.
cards by themselves. Women could not have leases on apartments by themselves. They couldn't enter into like a financial agreement by themselves. They always needed their husbands.
Yeah.
Not to say that they couldn't, but it wasn't strictly written in law that they could.
Right.
Um, so I think it's been so long where women have been forced to be dependent on
Yeah.
men to make the financial decisions and to like assume that role in the household. Um, and now times have changed
Mhm.
because women, we do have the freedom of making our own financial decisions, of buying homes on our own, owning cars on our own, having credit cards on our own, and spending our money how we want to spend it. And the thought of you're bad with money, you spend too much money. Well, to who? I'm
Yeah.
bad with money to
Yeah.
who? I spend too much money for who?
Hmm.
Because I am spending the money that I want to spend. And if I am putting money towards my goals and also still enjoying my life and living the life that I want to live by spending too much money on the bags and the
Right.
shoes and the trips and whatever the case may be, well, that's someone else's opinion of my lifestyle. And I'm living my life,
Right.
not you.
Right. Yep.
So
Yep.
if on the path to reaching my goal of retiring with $1 million, I decide that I want to go on a vacation and those couple of $1,000s are not going to my retirement account, but they're going on my vacation
Yeah.
account, that's my decision.
Yeah.
And it might not be a decision that someone else would make,
Mm.
but that's a decision that I'm making to live my joyful life on the path to
Yeah.
reaching my goals.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and I also wanted to say, I also read another statistic that 85% of women are responsible for consumer spending. So,
Mm.
so
Mm.
this
Mm.
includes
Groceries.
groceries.
Yeah.
This includes medical expenses, new cars, new homes, like all of the
Yeah.
consumer spending.
Yeah.
Like women have such buying power.
Right. 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 Yes. Yes.
So we're kind of forced into
Yes.
that leadership role.
Exactly. 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 So like education, financial literacy is super important for us. Like it's something we shouldn't shy away from. I'm learning that now, but I'm learning. I'm starting where I am and just understanding like we have to be the leaders of this. This is our duty to help our children, to shape our children into being financially literate as well as you have done with your children, which is just phenomenal. Like I'm like, wow, I wish I would have did that. But my kids are learning now. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what's happening. They're, much younger than when I started, so that's a good thing.
mean, when we know better, we
We
do
do
better
better.
and we
Yeah.
teach others. And it's not just our children, it's everyone
Right.
that we
Right.
interact with. It's our siblings, it's
Yeah.
our spouses, it's our parents, our
Yeah.
aunts, uncles, cousins, co-workers.
Right. Yeah.
It's literally everyone that we interact with and that we share information with.
Yeah.
If you're an expert on sports, you talk about sports all day with whoever is willing to have the conversation
Right.
with
Right.
you.
Exactly.
And just
Exactly.
by default, they might learn a couple of names.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I think it's kind of the same thing with financial literacy. You talk about it so much that it kind of just spills into other people, and the people that find it interesting, well, oh, that's interesting. I want to learn more. How do I do this? And then it becomes now they're learning and now they're spreading that information to everyone that they know as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's amazing. Um, I want to touch on this really quick. Investing. Many people are super scared of investing. I used to be, but now I'm just like, let's see what it does. Let's see. Where do we start with investing?
Um, I started with my 401k.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that is the absolute easiest place to start
Mhm.
because it's automated.
Yeah.
You throw in your percentage, it's taken out of your check. You don't have to do anything. And every once in a while, you can log into your account and say, oh, it's grown, it's grown. And I haven't done a thing.
Yeah. Yep.
I set up
Yep.
I set up my initial contribution and it does it on its own. So I think that is the biggest place that you can definitely start investing. Also, because if your company gives you a match,
Yeah.
that's free money. Technically, it's not free money, it's part of your compensation
Right.
package. But that's your money
Yeah.
that you're missing out on if you're not contributing to your 401k.
Yeah.
So I would definitely start there. And then next, I would go with a Roth IRA, if you qualify for a Roth IRA. If not, then an IRA. Um, because I love a Roth IRA because in retirement, the money that you withdraw can be tax-free, penalty-free. Like all the money that you pull out of your Roth IRA in retirement can be yours and you don't have to pay taxes on
Yeah.
it. So
That's
I love a Roth
yes.
IRA.
That's nice. Yeah.
So those are my top two investing accounts, but also something that's not always considered an investment account, but I think it is because you earn money on those accounts, are your high yield savings accounts.
Mm.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a savings account essentially. It's like if you have a savings account at Bank of America or Wells Fargo, which I don't like either of those banks,
Yeah.
but like if you have a savings account at those places, they are paying you what 0.01% of your money
Mm-hmm.
if you have it in a high yield savings account, which has almost all of the same benefits of a regular savings account. Your money is federally insured. There's no risk of losing your money because it's not being invested into the stock market. But those accounts are paying between 4 and 5%.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's
So
nice.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why, like everyone, in my opinion, everyone
Yes.
needs a high yield savings
Yes.
account. Because if
Yeah.
you're gonna save your money, why not get paid
Right.
just to save your money?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. This is so cool. So, what would be some final, like, what would be some words of wisdom you would give to the audience today about being financially strategic as a mom in their homes? What would be some advice you would give?
Just start.
Mhm.
Just start. Um, if this is something that you haven't seen demonstrated in your family, if this is something that you have not seen yourself represented into,
Mhm.
um, you will make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's just how learning things goes. If you're learning something new, you will make mistakes. When I first started, I made the mistake of, and it's a very common mistake of opening the account, putting money into the account, but not investing the money.
Yep.
So it's
Yep. Yep.
just sitting in the account.
Exactly.
So there will be mistakes that you make.
Yeah.
But if you just start and stay interested and stay with a learner's mind and continue to grow and build upon the skills that you're learning every day, it will become easier. And these conversations will become easier to have with people the more you do it.
Right.
It will become easier for you to talk about this with your kids and for them to recognize what's happening
Mhm.
the more you do it. And if you feel apprehensive, if you feel scared, if you feel nervous, reach out, get help. Help is
Yeah.
available to for anything else that we want to do. What do? We
Yeah.
research, we find mentors,
Yeah.
we find
Yeah.
coaches,
Yeah.
um, and money is no
Hmm.
different. I would
Hmm.
say sometimes money is even more important than other types of coaches. Like, I take it back. I love a manifestation coach.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just as important. It's just that sometimes people are nervous because
Yeah.
of the shame around it, because of the shoulds around it. I should have known this. I should have done that. I shouldn't be in this much debt. I should be saving more money. And again, I don't believe in shoulds.
Yeah.
I believe that everyone is doing the best that they can with the information that they have at the time. So
Absolutely.
where you are now is where
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
And if you want to be in a different place, you got to make a different decision. And if you need help, reach out for help.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell them where they can find you, where, what platforms, how can they work with you?
I am on Instagram, Monique the
Yeah.
Money Coach. You can DM me. I have a YouTube channel, Monique the Money Coach. Very few videos on there for now, but I am there.
Yeah.
Um, you could email me info@moniquethemoneycoach.com. Um, but the easiest way to get a hold of me is through Instagram, Monique the Money Coach. I am currently accepting one-on-one clients where I work very closely with clients. We go over their goals, short term, long term, and we set them on a path, a plan for them to reach those goals and achieve those goals while still enjoying their life today. It's not all goals and all future thinking, and today you just have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
No, it's not all goals and all sacrifice. It's you get yourself on a plan to reach your goals, but you also still, if you like having brunch with your friends once a month, like then that should be built into the plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you love taking your kids on a summer vacation, then that should be built into the plan. It's not
Absolutely.
just cut everything out
Yeah.
because that doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. We're about to get that spending plan going, right?
That's right.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much again for joining me. You dropped a lot of spicy good things that I think we all needed to hear. Because I think money is interwoven in the fabric of everything that we do. And it can bring a lot of shame, but it can also be, an answer to many things that we need in life. And so I appreciate you coming to talk about that. And hopefully this was helpful for other moms who are thinking, she can work with you. She can, usher you into whatever your goal is and really teach you how to do something new with your money. I think it's important. And, our buying power is so huge. Like you said, our consumer buying power. And like, not to turn the page, but we saw the power of that last night. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what you know. So,
If you know, you know.
so we just make sure that we understand that we have power. We are leaders. We can absolutely do this, and it's not too late for it to happen. So thank
Yes, I love it. It's not too late.
it's not too
Exactly. It's not
late.
too late.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Thank you, TaSheena.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. How do I end? I don't know how to end this.